What the fuck did I just watch? I am so.
What is this show even?
What is this show even?
The Articulate Coven is the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Chronicles, The Lives of the Mayfair Witches, and The Immortal Universe from AMC and AMC+. Welcome to The Articulate Coven. We are your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are The Articulate Coven. The Articulate Coven is the unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Immortal Universe, including Interview with the Vampire, Lives of the Mayfair Witches, the books that those shows are based on, and of course the TV shows from AMC and AMC+. We'll also be talking about Talamasca in the new year. I say New Year. I guess in late February we can't say New Year anymore, can we?
Well, I mean, January felt like it was 6 months, so.
Febuary, on the other hand, feels like a week and a half.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened.
There was the quarter that was January,
right,
and the week that was
February. I'm like, just spun around and it was fucking over. I'm like, what happened? I think I got sick a couple of times in February, and I think that's probably what kind of screwed it up for me.
I mean, the motherfucker does have 28 days. It's sneaky like that, Ashley. It's short to begin with.
It's short to start with, but my God. Yeah.
Those last 3 days, we really could have used them this month.
I really could have used them. I think that a round of the norovirus hit our house, and I lost about 3 days in that process, I feel like.
So I have two things that I am ecstatic about tonight, Ashley. One, I am alive, and I don't have any major maladies, probably, in the end. So those of you that are on our Facebook page, you probably have already seen the video. But if you're not in our Facebook group and you don't do meta, you don't know this probably. I had a seizure last week.
Joel just went and had a damn seizure on us.
Never had one before. 43 years old. Do not suggest adding that to your repertoire if you can help it.
Rude to scare your wife like that too, by the way.
Right, and that's who I feel the worst for, because Kelly was actually there for this whole event. You know, she woke up because I had fallen on the ground. So this is like 3:45 Thursday morning a week ago. Today, as you and I are recording this, is a Thursday, and it's the first. I've been fully seizure free for a week now. Kelly reminded me this morning, but Thursday a week ago, I apparently woke up sometime around 3:45. Allegedly, yes. I was out of bed for sure. We think I must have gone to the bathroom. Very common around that time. I'll wake up at 3:45 or 4 a.m., go take a pee, and then get like 3 more hours of sleep before I actually get up around 7-ish. I work from home and run my own business. Mind your own business. I don't have to get up when you do.
That is...
No, I wasn't talking to you.
Oh.
But I heard somebody say...
You get up when you want. You do what you do.
I like vampires. Don't get mad because I like nighttime. Anyway, so we think I got up about 3:45 or so, and I went to the bathroom, one assumes, because in my seizure, I did not pee on myself or on the floor. So I'm guessing I had just emptied my bladder. I don't know that.
You did it good. Look at you.
Right?
You kept it tidy.
But I must have seized and fell on the floor, because that's what Kelly heard. She heard a big crash, and when she immediately jumped up to see what had happened, because it was apparently very loud, she found me on the floor with my hands and legs drawn into myself and shaking, as you do, and I was literally frothing at the mouth. She said, I mean, it was like a seizure in a movie. I did the whole thing.
God.
I must not have been there for more than a few seconds, though, because she said, like, she heard the crash and immediately was awake and up. She cradled my head and made sure that I didn't hurt myself any further, you know, and turned me over on my side so I wouldn't choke on anything, I guess. I didn't realize it until late in the day, but I did bite my tongue pretty badly on the left side over here, and it's just now a week later, like, about to finally fully heal. So, like, I really gave it a chomp, apparently. But it was about 4 to 5 minutes long, and then I came out of it and was immediately looking up and talking to her. Ashley, I do not remember anything before the seizure. I don't remember the seizure itself. And I don't remember about at least 20 or 25 minutes, maybe as much as 30 or 45 after. I was up and doing things and talking to people, though, and I wandered around the house naked. I sleep naked, and I was up and naked and wandering. And like Kelly was like, you're nude. We should go. we should put on clothes. The paramedics came, and my father-in-law and my mother-in-law came because Kelly thought, well, I'll have to take him to the hospital. And so somebody's got to stay with the kids. All 4 of our kids were here. I argued with the paramedics, told them that I hadn't had a seizure.
You lied. You lied to them.
I told my father-in-law to mind his own business. I was pretty know-it-all. And then suddenly Joel actually woke up in his body. I was laying in our bed under the covers, clothed already. And the 2 paramedics were at the end of one of the paramedics was at the end of the bed talking to me. And the other one was, he had just pricked my finger to take a blood sample, and he was taking my blood pressure. And they were asking me the questions to verify whether I was conscious or not, and whether I knew what I was doing, right? like, so what year is it, and who's the president, and what's your name, and where do you live, and all the things.
Shitty question to have to answer. Oh, fuck.
I think the only one that I really took a while to answer apparently was what year it was. And I said, I know this one, just give me a minute. Okay. And I stalled them several times apparently on that one, but I did answer it right when I finally answered it. Anyway, I answered all of those right enough. And by that time I truly was conscious again.
Oh.
And they were like, Ms. Sharpton, his vitals are okay. He is conscious. He's answering all the questions properly. Like, we can't make him go with us to the hospital right now. He needs to go see his doctor today, though, for sure. And she was like, I'll make him make an appointment. I'll go make the appointment right now. As soon as they open, whatever, it's fine. So she let me go back to bed because that's what I demanded. And she basically sat over me vigil style until I was up, and then was like, hey, the doctor has an appointment for you at, pretty early. And we went in and saw the doctor. By that time, I had realized, and this is the big downside of having a seizure, in case any of you were wondering, because as I mentioned, I don't recall any of it, so it didn't really bother me. Here's what I do know, though. I have been so sore. I have been so unbelievably sore all over my body this whole week. And at first, I was like, what? I must have fallen, right? And cracked a rib. And they told me right away, I mean, maybe you did, and we'll take x-rays for sure, but probably it's just because you literally had every muscle in your body tight for 4 or 5 minutes, it sounds like, without any of the normal governors on your musculature that we use to protect ourselves, right? So I basically tore them all. Like, not actually, but in the way that when you work out to the stress point so that you tear and then rebuild, right? Yeah. Every muscle in my body was at that point on Thursday last.
You basically did an hour of heavy lifting in the gym.
I did a month of CrossFit is what I'm hearing, right?
That's crazy.
Have a seizure. Let's talk about it. You give me another week and I'll tell you about the weight loss. I don't know. No, I don't. I do not recommend this to anybody. Seriously, my diaphragm, even today, is still sore, and I'm a week out. I'm thinking at this rate of recovery, by the time I get to the weekend again, Saturday or Sunday, I should be back up to normal. My normal, slow, mid-40s fat ass self.
The usual pace.
Yeah. All my normal aches and pains instead of these new ones.
The normal things we take ibuprofen for.
So listen, so that's what happened to me, and that's one of the reasons why you guys haven't gotten any extra videos this week. Dad would have loved this is behind. I've recorded a bunch of things, but I haven't gotten it all edited because I've been recuperating this week. But here's why I wanted to bring it up. I know the demographics on our show, and I know the basic age ranges, and a lot of our audience is younger than us, but there's a lot of the audience that is right in our age range, and even our elders. So my fancy little watch here that I love so much, I wear it every night to sleep, and I have for years. I'm tracking my sleep. Why? What do I do with that data? Not much, but it makes me feel better for some reason. Well, one of the new things that the Apple Watch will tell you if you do that, it will track over the course of a week your breathing patterns while you sleep. and it'll tell you whether it believes you are liable to have sleep apnea. Mine gave me just that same alert Wednesday morning last week. Said, hey, I think you've got sleep apnea. You ought to contact your doctor. And I was
hey,
like,
bro,
wow,
you quit breathing a lot last night.
That's crazy. But I didn't make any doctor's appointments. I didn't even mention it to my wife. Thursday morning, though, I had a seizure and didn't wake up properly. Could not have woken up that morning. So when I get to the doctor finally on Thursday, and the doctor says, anything new in your life, any new drugs, any new experiences, et cetera, I said, well, no. And then I finally went, my watch told me yesterday that I probably have sleep apnea, but that doesn't cause seizure. I'd never heard that before. And she's like, well, it's not like the number one thing that happens to you, but yes, if you cut off your brain's oxygen supply, it turns out one of the ways your body might respond is to seize.
Yeah. You're killing us, man. You're trying to smother us. Breathe, please.
Yeah. So I found out they did an MRI, because one of the other reasons why I might suddenly have a seizure for the first time in my life at 43 is maybe I've got a brain tumor. That's like one of the big ones, right? Yeah. It's not a tumor. We know now it's definitely not a tumor. My brain is fine, except that I do have a malformation of the brain. I have what is known as Chiari malformation, which means that my brain tissue, my regular brain tissue, grew further down into my brainstem than the average brain does.
Yeah.
Okay. What is one of the Chiari generally is fairly innocuous. It can cause all sorts of things, especially in my older age. I will likely have balance issues. But one of the big symptoms of Chiari is that it can cause sleep apnea.
Shut up.
No, it causes sleep apnea. It's one of the biggest things that it does. So between that and the fact that I am obese, I'm overweight on the scientific scale. So those two things combined probably to exacerbate that for me and have aggravated it recently, at least. And so that's what I'm dealing with now. I'm waiting on approval for a sleep study still. I think that has gone through the insurance, but for whatever reason, it hadn't been finalized. They hadn't told me where I'm going to go and how much it's going to cost me, but that's coming. And likely in a week or so, I'll have a CPAP machine. Probably going to have seizure medicine for a while too, apparently. Well, so there's that.
A CPAP machine, they have made huge advances from the CPAP machines that I think of when I think of CPAP machines. And I hear it's life-changing. You start breathing at night and you haven't been, it's like pretty proper.
So almost exactly a year ago, Kelly got diagnosed with sleep apnea, and she has a CPAP machine. She got one a year ago.
You guys will have your own.
Right? We'll be twinsies.
Do everything together.
So look, when she first got it, I was like, oh man, we'll be able to get rid of the noise machine now because your CPAP machine will be like a vacuum running, right? First of all, no, the only reason it ever makes any noise at all is if it comes unsealed from her. Like if she rolls funny and pulls it away from her face, you can hear the
like a hiss.
Air. Yeah, it's a hiss going because there's a broken seal. But when it's actually sealed onto her face, you can't hear it at all, even laying right beside her. So I'm like, okay, that's not bad at all. First of all, anytime I've ever heard some old man complain about his CPAP machine, I'm like, you're lazy, brother, because that's easy to handle and take care of. If you used to could not breathe, but now you can.
But now you can.
Let's all clap and thank God for modern medicine.
Right, exactly.
That's probably coming my way, depending upon what the EEG results are, which we're still waiting. I should have those tomorrow.
It's been a while.
I may or may not. Right? I may or may not be able to drive again anytime soon. I've been told to expect at least a month and maybe 6.
To not be cleared to drive? Yeah,
you
don't want to have a seizure when you're driving.
For sure.
That would be horrifying.
Every time a medical professional has used the terminology, you're getting X, Y, or Z because of your seizures, I'm like, it's just the one, actually.
It's just the one
historically
seizure.
Speaking.
I've only had just the one. This is new. This is brand new stuff for Joel.
Actually, Dr. Robbins, our who was the head of the School of Performing Arts when you and I were in college, he used to always say, "You aren't something until you've done it twice." So you can't.
Exactly.
You're not a playwright until you've staged 2 plays. When you stage 2 plays, then you're a playwright.
Then you're a playwright.
If you're an actor, you're not really an actor until you've been in 2 performances. In his case, you'd want to be paid for those performances. Then you could say, "I'm a professional actor now." You got to do something twice.
Yeah.
Well, I have not seized twice, so
you're not professional. You have not. You're not a professional haver of seizures.
That's right. I'm not a haver of seizures yet. I have had a seize. Anyway, thanks to everybody. Thanks to everybody for the well wishes. Genuinely, you guys were so sweet about the post.
Oh,
honestly,
scary.
I told my kid. I said something about, hey, I made a post today about having a seizure. Part of that was I know a handful of clients were going to maybe see my stuff and like, hey, if I'm late on something, like, do know I'm dealing with this thing today. It was literally like an out of office note. But also I was feeling gloomy and sad and hurt. And it was like, I wonder if people on the internet care if Joel is ill today. And they did. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go have yourself checked out though. Like if you are of an age and your watch tells you have a thing, or your doctor suggests a certain path of journey for you in your life, you need to lose a few pounds, you need to change the diet, maybe you need to have that colonoscopy, whatever it might be.
It's that I need to schedule my mammogram. Ladies, get your mammograms. Shit on a shingle. I need to schedule that too.
I'm due for the colonoscopy. I think technically I could push it off until 45, but now that I'm about to hit my deductible for sure, I'll go ahead and get that colonoscopy this year.
Yeah, I have to get one. I'm supposed to get one. You do get the good drugs though. You get that drug that I like so much. That's just, it's so chill. You feel so fucking pleasant.
All of life is an experience, I say. Let's just ride the roller coaster. It's not beautiful because it lasts forever. That's my point.
In fact, the wheels start coming off pretty abruptly and horrifyingly.
That's right. So let's tend to our carriages so we can enjoy this ride a little longer.
Yes.
Again, thank you everybody for the happy thoughts and the prayers and the well wishes. It has genuinely helped this week. The other reason I'm excited, Ashley, about our conversation tonight is because we're fucking done with Mayfair Witches.
Y'all, I literally messaged Joel today when I finished watching the episode, and I was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
What is this show even?
What is this show even? Ooh.
So Kelly had a few things that she wanted me to share with you all tonight. She said she and the girls just left for a elementary school basketball game a little while ago, which I thought was so adorable. Our 11-year-old twins were very excited to go see some of their friends play ball tonight. So
that's awesome.
But she said before she left, she said, y'all going to talk about the finale? I said, yes, thank God. Right. I'm excited to get this out there. Kelly says, tell the people exactly how I felt coming from episode 7 and then finishing episode 8. When we wrapped up episode 7, she was probably more hopeful than she's ever been for this show. She was crowing about how much fun episode 7 was in particular. She's like, I dig the spooky Mayfair castle, and the evil Scottish family is going to turn bad. Okay, cool. Sexy, funny times at the wedding. All right, awesome. She was down for all of it.
Shenanigans in the fuck tent.
Yeah, exactly. She was down for all of it. We get to the end of episode 8, and I was sort of like you, like this show is so off the rails. I really don't know where you even would go from here. We thought season 1 ended in an insane way. This is beyond. This goes so far beyond. She was much less though. It was a wet duck fart. She was like, that's it? That?
Mm-hmm. Oh, the ending of it just infuriated me. We've been fucking moving towards this the whole fucking season. Okay, we'll get there.
Yeah.
A wet duck fart.
Okay, we've had already a little bit of feedback, not from the finale, but from the previous episodes on our Facebook group and elsewhere. I've seen people reacting online. And it seems like even the folks who have been along for the weird ride that is Mayfair Witches, last episode in this one, this thing has gone off in a direction where it's really hard to defend for anybody at this point. I suppose there are some folks who literally do not care about the books at all and have enjoyed the TV show who might be hanging on.
Yeah.
But even those folks, I do wonder, what do we hope to do here? What are you looking for? How can you expect this to be something that you're building out of?
Yeah. What's next? Like, I mean, what's next it is kind of a vague thing, it seems, but like, I don't know. I don't know, Joel. I was just really, really befuddled.
Didn't even cauterize off the wound, so to speak. You know, if they're like, okay, we're done with this, let's just make good stuff now. They didn't even do that well. Left a bunch of nonsense hanging.
Yeah. I thought maybe, well, are they going to just wrap this all up and it's just going to be a 2-season thing? But they didn't. They did not.
They hung it out there. They hung it out there, y'all.
So I guess we're going to have to hate watch season 3.
Okay. Here's what I want to offer you all: a little homework, a little fun stuff. We said from the very beginning that we were going to do a full Q&A feedback episode where we got all your feedback and we talked about it. Because of the way we were recording these episodes, we wouldn't have a lot of feedback episode to episode. As the season's gone on, we've gotten a little bit more, but this is for you all. I hope a lot of you want to come hang out with us. Ashley and I are both in the Central Standard Time Zone, CST. So on March 8th, that's a Saturday, noon our time, noon CST, and I'll post this in the Facebook group and I'll post this in the Patreon too. But in case you're not in those places, you can hear it right here. Come join us for a live stream. The link for that live stream will be in the show notes to this episode.
What?
And then we'll put it up on the Facebook group. Yeah, we're going to do it live. Here's what that means, though. If you join the link for the live stream, you can hang out in the audience. We might even pull a few people from out of the audience to actually appear on the episode and talk. But even if you're not going to do that or you don't want to do that, you can put messages into the chat. And Ashley and I can pop them out of the chat and into the video to talk about and share with everybody. So live feedback from all of you, and not just live feedback, but like Q&A.
Let's hang out.
You're tired of Mayfair? Ask us what you want to talk about then. And let's talk about what you do want to talk about. Other shows and movies that we haven't discussed previously, the things we're looking forward to most coming up.
And air your grievances, by God, about Mayfair.
Yes.
Let's fucking have like a therapy session about this show. My God.
Y'all, I think you're all going to have some things to say after this episode, especially. Woo! So let's all hang out. May 8th, not May 8th, March 8th. March 8th. It's a Saturday, noon CST. Link for the live stream is in the show notes. We will see you all there. Thank you. That's going to be exciting. All right.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Okay. Let's just get into this thing and go through it. All right. Episode starts. Imeleth and Lasher post-coital bliss.
Yes. They moved to a bed. They're in a bed now.
Which, by the way, when did they move to the bed? That was my question exactly. Like, how long did they fuck in the tent before they wrapped the tent around themselves?
Well, and how long does everyone stay for the tent fucking as well? I'm curious for the, so but they're in a bed now, and there are fewer guests.
So here's something that had literally never occurred to me until still another 10 or 15 minutes later than this moment in the episode. But Ashley, it had never occurred to me that the show was going to do multiple births at once. And of course they would. Like, of course they were going to have multiple Taltos babies. That's correct me if I'm wrong, though. We don't have twins almost ever, even 2 births at once.
No,
in the books, right?
Not that I recall, sir.
Yes, sure, right. Been a long
however,
time.
In my mind, it happened like there were like a litter of them. Like in my brain, I thought there were like 4 or 5 of them. I don't know why I don't know why my brain did that, but I was like, man, she's having 20 babies. This is crazy.
Well. And that's where they go. Basically, I think the number we end up with is something like 9. I think we get 9 babies, maybe 10.
It's a lot of babies.
Yeah, it's a lot of especially when they're all immediately going to be grown. Like, I just think about the Taltos in the wild, Ashley. It's a real problem for the mother, is what I'm saying.
I mean, for real. Like, And they're taking them away to like feed them and everything. But yeah, in the wild, a Mama Taltos is has 8 babies on her 2 teats. You only have 2 teats, ma'am. We're not supposed to have that many babies. We don't have litters. I guess
maybe in the wild they do spread the fucking out. So like, you know, she doesn't go 1,000 years in between mating sessions. So, you know, maybe it's a little bit more regulated.
Well, I mean, and I guess we don't know the ins and outs of the Taltos reproductive system either. So I guess I can suspend my disbelief about a woman having a litter of children that are going to grow very fast.
The beauty is that neither does Esta Spalding or anyone on this writing staff. Clearly, none of them know anything about literally every moment in this show, even when they make some outrageous leap, I think to myself, because of how good Interview has been, I remember, I look back at season 1 when there's the infamous fight between Louis and Lestat, and I won't get any more spoilery than that in case you're not an Interview fan already, but
we don't want to ruin
y'all, it's a much better show. Go watch that one.
We love it. We love it.
But there's an episode in season 1 where an event happens, and it's very much not in the books that way. And you and I were shocked and wondered if there wasn't some sort of story retcon coming at some point, that this was to build up. And we wondered exactly why would they do this? And what could they possibly mean out of this? And where will the story go to make this make sense? And yet we had faith even that night that it would, because the writers had been consistent in their own world, right? Yes. They take leaps and they take liberties with the source material, but they have a consistency throughout that show that this show just does not have.
This show feels like, I feel like Interview feels very planned and very well like plotted out. Like I see in my mind, I see a very organized writer's room with like lots of scene breakdowns and shit, and everybody knows what's going on. I see the writer's room for Mayfair. In my mind, it's like an opium den of like debauchery and terrible ideas. Like, I'm like, why is no one saying what? Why is no one saying, huh?
First of all, you make a wonderful work spouse for me, because you said an opium den of bad ideas. My thought was literally that they were drawing mahjong tiles to write this story. That was my thought. I was like, they've just thrown them down. They're pulling them up one by one. You know, there was the joke about Family Guy on, I think this was on South Park, or maybe it was vice versa. But the idea is like, oh no, it was about Family Guy. It's being written by dolphins. Like they're literally pulling up a noun ball and then a verb ball and a pop culture reference ball. And that's the joke. That feels like how this show is written. We've joked about the word search, but genuinely, this feels like they shoved these books into ChatGPT and then just told it to write a TV script. Yeah. This is the worst, Ashley. It's bad.
It's not good. It's not good. I spent a lot of this episode with my jaw dropped, and then I had to like back it up a lot, because I was like, surely I heard that wrong, or I definitely missed something. Yeah, there were several times that I was like, I definitely missed something. No, I didn't miss anything. This is just like a clown car careening through New Orleans, and it is just absurd.
You told this story one time about like the 5th graders writing their scripts and one of them getting stapled out of order.
Yes, that is what this is.
This is less coherent than the 5th grader's script stapled out of order.
I promise genuinely. It is. And then you know what happened when we realized the script was stapled out of order? What we did? We put the fucking script in an order that made sense, and then we carried on with it.
Stopped and you shuffled it. Like, I mean,
we did
genuinely.
an edit. We did an edit.
I wonder, from the outside looking in, as for a business venture. Like AMC has the Talamasca show coming, soon. They've got Interview season 3, which they are spending a ton of money on to do Rockstar Lestat.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot imagine that this gets a renewal. And even once you just say, okay, that's the end of that, and so these characters are now just wandering the universe and somebody else can kind of retcon this thing around, even then, you fucked your Talamasca show in so many ways, honestly. Like,
get really excited about the Talamasca. Something stupid happens on this show that makes me go, what?
So I will say, and you and I didn't mention it, I don't think we had noticed it in our pre-release material, but the writer of the last episode is in fact the showrunner for the Talamasca series. The writer for episode 7 of Mayfair. It's one of the reasons why there was so much Talamasca heavy stuff in there, I think. We get specifically, I think the choices about putting Cyprian in charge of the New Orleans branch.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's for the Talamasca show. I think
setting that up.
And the way that Sip sort of walks out of this episode, honestly, in many ways, says to me he's going into his own series. I think the Talamasca series may, in the end, be New Orleans heavy in a way that we didn't really expect it to be.
Well, they have to send him in to clean up the fucking dum-dums down there. Or just
Lord
idiots.
have mercy.
Oh my God.
All right.
Okay.
So back to the specifics.
Yeah,
They're laying in bed, postcoital bliss, about to have babies. Lasher,
like in just a few minutes.
Yeah, Lasher immediately goes into, "Hey, we should move to New Orleans."
Yeah. Maybe I want to live close to my mom. I'm pretty attached. Kind of a mama's boy, Like, this is Rowan's going to be the worst fucking mother-in-law in the history of mother-in-laws.
Oh, she would have been so terrible. It's crazy to me though that Imeleth, and God bless her, like, she doesn't even really give him pushback. She's like, well, tell me about Rowan.
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess
I've been waiting for a really long time to have sex, so this'll do. This'll do.
So Cortland Julian is outside warming up Rowan a little bit. Rowan is literally sitting outside the bedroom, which again, like, okay, so we watched the fuck tent for how long? And then they migrated to a bedroom for a little privacy and decorum. So you just migrated outside to hear their grunts from out there? Like, what the fuck, man?
Grunting out in the fuck tent.
You're right. Okay. Cortland comes up with coffee for Rowan. And it's obviously Julian and Cortland's body at this point.
Right.
But in case you've forgotten, they do something here, and I'm not sure whether it's his makeup or the lighting or both, maybe, but the shadows on this man's face are so dark and sinister for this scene.
Yeah,
I was like,
fucking
God,
Skeletor.
Y'all gonna do that the whole show? Of course they're not, though, Ashley, because this isn't some long con. He's immediately going to reveal himself as evil to Rowan because he's drugged her coffee, obviously. Yes. But like, it's just like at every turn you could have made a subtle choice, an artful choice, but no.
At any turn you could have chosen that. I mean, you set it up. I thought we were going to have this whole thing.
No, it's no thing at all. We immediately get a flash of Julian. Although Rowan still doesn't register that. Later, they're like, Julian's back. She's like, what are you talking about?
Because she's the stupidest character on the planet.
They've
made her so dumb.
Dumber. She's even dumber in this episode. It's like,
than she was in the last one.
You did a whole episode where you separated Rowan's being into her brain and her heart to show us what dumb Rowan would look like, and then you put her back together
and make her dumb.
She's dumber.
Yeah, she didn't learn anything from that.
I don't know, man. I don't know. This neurosurgeon is one of the stupidest people in the Western Hemisphere.
Which, I mean, I've watched some Grey's Anatomy. I gotta say that sounds par for the course for neurosurgeons. Just kidding. Don't hate me.
Okay, let me, and I think I've bragged on this before, but again, I'll say it here. The opening sequence of this show is really nice. And I do sometimes wish that interview had a longer title sequence.
Yeah, I do
we
too.
get the fangs and the orchestra note sort of as it like warms up,
and then we get our sexy scenery, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but I do like an actual title sequence. Like you and I were both big Game of Thrones fans.
Oh, yeah, big time.
With that sequence that changed every time. Like,
yeah, anytime something new happened.
Lovely, what they've done for Mayfair. It's a shame the show doesn't live up to it. Honestly.
I would say it's cute that you're trying to find something good to say about it right now.
I'm looking for that shit sandwich to serve.
You're going all the way back to the fucking opening sequence to try to find something you can say woohoo about.
So Julian is enjoying the little things about being back in the real world. He and Ian are drinking champagne in their tent, and he's saying it tastes better in this world.
Yes. I think that's probably true.
I'm sure it is. I'm
enjoying Cortland playing Julian. I'm enjoying that. That's a fun, there's some fun choices happening there.
It's even a decent solve for the show overall, I feel like, because Julian is the male figure that you really want from the books to be a protagonist, antagonist in your show. And okay, well, cool. That's a cool solve. Put him in Cortland's body. Cortland's immortal now, so he won't ever go away either. We got Harry Hamlin playing him, so we've known him this whole time. Like, okay, that's fine. They just do it so clumsily, and then to no effect, really, in the end.
And it doesn't. Exactly. To no effect at the end. Like everyone's just where they were. Like
pretty much.
There's no resolution in this episode at all. There's no, and it's not even like they're leaving you on a cliffhanger. It's just like they just stop.
Yeah,
they just stop.
And they didn't even film the end too, which we're going to get to. But and
it's so infuriating. I'm like, that's been what the whole fucking season's been about, getting those women out of the goddamn house. Oh.
So Julian and Ian get into a little disagreement here about Rowan. Julian wants her around, makes it clear to Ian that Ian is still very replaceable.
Right.
Don't get too big for your britches. She's
powerful as fuck. Of course she's useful.
Yeah.
Let's not lie. She is the 13th witch.
Yeah. And we knew in the end, honestly, that this was going to come down to Ian and Rowan was going to come out of there. Exactly how it was all going to play out wasn't obvious to me at the beginning, but even from that initial disagreement between the two of them, I was like, oh, Julian's got a play here that he's working for, which again, I was ready to like. I was like, right. Okay, I could think of a thing that I would like you doing there at the end.
Yes,
they just don't do that.
They just don't do any of the cool things that we came up with them to do. We came up with a lot of great ideas for them to do with this last episode. They didn't do any of them, Joel.
Okay, so we cut to our Talamasca folks locked in a cell. First of all, and I didn't get it on first watch, but on the second watch, I was like, oh, they're speaking Dutch.
Dutch, yeah.
That's cute, honestly, because where is the mother house? The mother house is the main one is in Amsterdam.
Yep. Yeah, it was. So, okay. It was interesting, and you don't hear Dutch being spoken very often, so it is very no, it's a very noticeable difference to the ear.
Well, and Sip's Dutch was pretty clumsy.
I wish we had a Dutch fan that listens to us, because I would like to know, because we do have French speakers that can give us feedback on Lestat's French, but I would like to have some feedback on this Dutch.
And we've heard that the French in Interview with a Vampire especially is not nearly as good as Ashley and I imagined it was.
We think it is.
Yeah. But this Dutch, even to my ear, sounded pretty rough there. But it's cute, though. It would make sense for the Talamasca agents to be able to speak Dutch and to understand Dutch. And likewise, that's a language that'd be pretty safe to think those Scottish Mayfairs wouldn't know. You know?
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, so the agent that is with Cyprian, though, first of all, I cannot remember her name for the life of me. They say it once in this episode, right at the very end.
That's not enough. I actually did not recognize a human being out in public last night that I had sat in a meeting with earlier in the day, because he changed clothes. So,
well, it threw me off, because it's like, why would you introduce this agent in this way and not have her transfer over to the Talamasca series?
And I like her. Like, also,
I thought she was pretty good too. Yeah,
I liked her. Like, what the fuck?
But like
you're not doing any of your other storytellers any favors by not being a little more creative with the show.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very strange sequence of events. But anyway, she is sending a message through the ley lines, which again, this is an interesting idea.
Beep, 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 beep.
Not something from the books, though.
No,
they do not send Morse code through the roots. So Cyprian has a trust tab from earlier this season. You know, he was going to use this thing on Moira once upon a time, and he put it back in the bag and opened his heart to her and opened his mind.
Not his legs, as we thought might happen, unfortunately.
Right? We totally read that one wrong. Yeah.
No, because it would have been compelling, but no, we don't want to be compelling or interesting or
again
make us care about any of these characters.
Man, bring Moira and Rowan together, actually make them allies and friends, and yet put Rowan's ex in the middle who's now falling for Moira. Like, obviously that's a storytelling trope that you could lean on and make an interesting little love triangle. Nope.
We love Moira.
Don't worry about that. Moira's pretty good in this episode, honestly, by the way. Let's get to her, as a matter of fact. So Cyprian's got the trust tab. They're going to use that to get their get out of jail free card or whatever.
Yeah.
Now we've got a friendly Mayfair guide to take them around the mansion, which is going to work out very well for later.
It's very handy.
So they see Rowan being brought into another cell, and so that's when they decide to make their move. We cut to Moira. Moira is with her Mayfair jailer, who this scene is
hilarious.
Drunk.
Yeah,
I thought it was so good too.
I really enjoyed this scene. I like this gal that's playing opposite of our Moira. This was really funny shit. It was
the
really
one that's
cute.
Got a brain like a head of lettuce. I think she said last episode. Yeah.
So they're playing around with mind reading and such, and it's great. She's trying to teach her how to block it. She's trying to teach her how to block.
She's playing these games, but what she's really doing is drugging her up so she'll fall asleep.
Getting you all fucked up. Getting you good and Scottish drunk.
So she takes the knife and is going to lock this girl up in the closet, and she's going to get away. Moira gets away. Again, like, Moira is one of the best things about a very, very bad episode.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And the drunk Scottish girl as well. Like, she was a hoot. She's like, I'm going to be in so much trouble.
But unlike our heroine, even in Rowan, Moira acts consistently. She's always smart. She's always genuinely positive. Like, she's not out to hurt anybody. She's always just out to
solving problems too. Like, she's always looking for solutions or options to deal with the problem at hand, which Rowan is not about. And if Rowan is doing it, she's not sharing it with anybody. So it's like
just bizarre, y'all. Okay, so we cut to Lark now. Lark's tied up. He's trying to talk his way into at least being close enough so that he can see what's going on with Rowan, which I thought was a good point, though. Like, genuinely, if they're like, hey, if you're dangling me in front of Rowan as like the reason why she can't act up, she should see me probably.
I should be in her eye shot. Like, you should probably threaten me in front of her.
But Julian's got other plans. He needs Lark for his grand finale. This is when I figured out the final twist of the episode too. I was like, oh, Julian's going to crawfish on Ian and choose Rowan's side. Actually, like, he's going to set this whole thing. Well, I mean, that's what he does, right? Like, he double crosses.
Yeah,
he double crosses him. And I knew it right here. As soon as he's already shot Ian down on killing Rowan early.
Rowan, yeah.
And now he needs Lark for a grand finale. I'm like, yeah, he's going to fuck Ian when this is all said and done. Which, I mean, I guess I will say, a Julian who chooses his own side permanently against every member of the family is at least closer to the book Julian than the one we thought, where he's got a secret family from Scotland that he likes better than the New Orleans family.
Yeah, and then he's using this family. He's like, this whole second family he made is there.
The
out
whole
of, like,
thing was
necessity.
A ruse.
Like, it's just, they're there out of to service his plan, not because he gives a shit about anybody.
Yeah. So Imolith is starting to pop them out, but
Ooh.
Lasher is called away to the blessing. The blessing.
The blessing. Don't go into the woods with these people. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would have asked a few more questions, I feel like.
I've had a lot of fucking questions to ask. And I would have had a friend come with me. Like, there's... No, and I get you're just born last year, but you're not fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, we could say he wasn't born yesterday. It was like last week, though.
It was like 2 weeks ago, maybe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He is pretty fresh and stupid, I guess. Oh,
so
God.
The Talamasca have freed and woke Rowan from her sleeping spell. But of course, now we have to have a completely useless conversation about why should I trust you instead? Like, why would Rowan watched Cortland drug her? Why would she wake up and assume that Cyprian was involved? Like,
what the fuck? That's like, you're not even using logic at that point. Like, I'd be excited that somebody that has a brain has shown up and maybe will be able to fucking help you get out of this stupid situation you've gotten yourself into. That's clearly all leading up to a bunch of blood sacrifice.
Yes. Okay.
I can't believe this is the third fucking show I've watched in like the past 3 years that I've had to say, are they going to eat a baby?
They're absolutely gonna try to eat these babies. Oh my god. Once I realized that too, I was like, you can't come up with anything cooler.
No, we have to drink the blood of the Taltos to become
it's just
a powerful
blood magic.
witch. Yeah, it's just blood magic.
The whole fucking
vampires,
thing.
Joel. If it's gonna be about drinking blood, then I want you to be a fucking sexy gay vampire, or I don't want you.
Like, I mean, listen. We've said it before. I understand the Mayfair Witch books are weird, but
they are weird. They're fucking weird.
The only thing you can come up to boil it down to is blood magic. Blood magic.
Feel like we should kill a chicken or something.
Sorry, my animals keep trying to force their way into the room now. The dog's like, I heard about blood magic.
Oh, I could probably come in there and help.
Who's sacrificing in there?
Sounds like a snack.
Okay, so Lasher and Ian's kid get to the tent or not to the tent. They get to the altar circle, the rock circle.
Right.
And again, I'm like,
what the fuck, dude? What do you think's gonna happen to you?
Like, you see, that's a fucking altar, right? That you're kneeling at.
It's like a vampire box. You know what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, man, come on. But he says here, and this is another one. I just wrote this down because I was like, this is just such a shame. Lasher says out loud, "I'm not Lasher anymore." Julian Cortland was saying, "When you were Lasher, I served you. We knew each other a long time." Okay, like, again, we talked about it in the past episodes. There are reasons to have a confusion on whether this person is actually Lasher, and is Ashler the same being, and are they reborn, et cetera, but like, they don't do anything interesting with any aspect of it. They just wholly throw away the character of Lasher. Mm-hmm. But who is Ashler? Nobody. Nope, don't even worry about it. You're not gonna
know. Don't worry about it, because I don't even think that's gonna come up again.
Never gonna come up again is my guess. Like, anyway, it's just choice after choice after choice. They just cast away good story.
I can't under any circumstances see them moving forward with, I mean, granted, nothing has been really from the book, but like, I mean, throw Talatos into the garbage, because I have that book isn't happening in any form or fashion.
I mean, no, it's effectively just now like she's gonna Clarice it around and follow Julian around.
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna be about her and Julian trying to get each other's goat. Like, what the fuck is that?
Who gives a shit? Honestly, like, listen. If they make season 3, we will watch it because it's got Anne Rice's name on it, and that's what we signed up for. But at this point, I think this show is off the rails. And if I'm giving AMC any advice, I am saying, do not throw good money after bad. Let this one die. And, again, redirect your story through the Talamasca series and what you're going to do with the Talamasca in Interview with the Vampire, more likely, honestly. Let Rollin Jones set the fucking tone, and then the rest of y'all just follow what he says, okay?
Yeah.
Pretty please?
Yeah. Please
Goodness
and thank
gracious.
you. We'll be very good boys and girls if you do that.
I'm telling you.
No, I mean, I can't imagine a world where this isn't getting a third season just because of the overall investment. And this did really well on Netflix, you know, like this one was in the top 10 on Netflix. Like I think there'll probably be a third season, but I don't think that it's going to be in any way, form, or fashion recognizable as from these books.
We won't rush it. The final, literally the final scene of this episode makes me think that maybe they actually cut the checks off. So we'll get there in a minute. But
okay, I could see that because it is such a throwaway.
I do think this thing might have gotten nipped in the bud. We'll see. Okay, so where were we? Let's go back. So Lasher is about
not
to get...
Lasher anymore. Yeah, he's about to get...
Yeah, Lasher says, I'm not Lasher anymore. They kneel, except for Ian, who's lurking in the back like a creepy motherfucker, and everybody starts to pray. And again, I'm like, okay, so you were born last week, but still, like, you're not dumb, right? Right, Lasher?
Right?
Aren't you? You're magic in this universe, huh? Right? Please
right?
feel the creepy person with a knife at your back.
You have some sort of like witchy instinct yourself. Surely you have some sort of feeling of fucking self-preservation. No. So he just gets his throat slit. Sure as I'm sitting here.
As stupid as that is, they cut away from that to something even stupider, Ashley. Cyprian and Rowan and Madame Talamasca have all exited the house now, and they're looking for Lasher. They don't know where he is, but don't worry, folks, because Rowan's got her handy-dandy dowsing hand out.
Where is he?
It's the wrong way, Ashley. We've got to go this way. Oh my God, it's the stupidest idea in a show full of stupid ideas.
I like that's it for you. It's the fucking hand. But I agree. It's very stupid.
It's the hand, y'all. I mean, just give her wavy lines or something, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Anyway, but wait, Cyprian notices they're heading into the same woods that Lasher died in his previous life.
What?
No.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Could it be happening again?
So Ian immediately cuts Lasher's throat, and they drain him into a chalice. They leave the body out because they don't have time to waste. Got to get to that blessing at high noon. And at first I'm like, at this point, okay, so they've cut his throat, which was surprising to me, honestly. I mean, it wasn't once they knelt at the altar. I knew they were going to cut his throat at that point.
Yeah.
But okay, so fine. You're going to just cut Lasher and drain him. He's just a blood bag. But then still, I was like, well, what are all the children for? And I'm still thinking, okay, well, now you've got literally a village of these Taltos that you can like manage over time and gain the magic from. That's great. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that totally would have made sense. No. They're going to kill these kids and drink their blood.
They're going to dip the babies in Lasher's blood to make them double strong, and then they're just going to eat the babies. Jesus Christ. Like, of all the evil plots, this is the dumbest evil plot. Like, what?
I like the double dipping of the babies.
Yeah. It's not enough that we're going to cannibalize these children. We've got to bless them with daddy blood first.
They're so gross about it. They're like, because she's when Moira's reading their minds, and she's like, they're like picking out which one they want to gnaw on. It's so fucking awful. Like,
one of the women, she's justifying it to herself. She's like, I bet they don't even feel pain.
Yeah, I bet they don't even feel pain. Yeah. So we're like, so we're having to, oh God.
The quote is by the blood of your father is your own blood strengthened, Julian says, as he literally gives them the sign of the cross with Lasher blood, which would be like really crazy, except Lasher did it. But remember, Lasher did it in the past.
Village. That's right.
He did it with his own blood to the kids in the village, and that's why they were all strong. So like, oh, it's just stupid from top to bottom. The whole thing's stupid. Okay. Meanwhile, though, a path of flowers has grown from Lasher's body as he croaks his last breath here. So Moira gets confused for one of the random Mayfair girls, and she gets pressed into serving the Taltos babies. 8 so far, and they're already growing. Milks all around as the Mayfairs prepare for a feast. What are we going to eat?
Y'all. I know I already gave it away, but it's the babies.
It's the babies. It's again, like... It's like between season 1 and season 2, they told Estes Spaulding, hey, go watch Interview with a Vampire. It's really great. You should take some of their ideas. And she's like, oh, eat the babies. We'll eat the babies.
It'll be all about blood and babies. Blood and eating babies.
Oh, so Rowan finds Lasher and tries to heal him. At first, she can't because of drama. And then she suddenly can because of plot armor, I guess. Why? Like, there's no reason.
She tried harder. Joel, she tried harder.
Literally, she just
tries harder.
She just tries harder. And it's like, okay. Okay. You couldn't think of 30 more seconds of bullshit to fill this episode with?
No. We have to do this. We're doing this. This.
So it's a stupid way to kill Lasher, in my opinion. Like, this is a stupid way to waste that character.
It's a waste.
And to cut his throat. Yeah. But at least once they had her bring him back, I thought, oh, okay, interesting. We're going to keep that personality around that we've, fallen in love with, or at least gotten to know for 2 seasons here. And we'll tell the story, the ongoing story of the Taltos, we'll tell through Lasher. Which, slight spoiler, doesn't happen in the books. Lasher does die in the books, and it's other Taltos that become the main thrust in the 2nd and 3rd book. But, like, they just don't do that either.
No, they don't. They do not. That is not... I don't know what their plan is, Joel. That's why I'm like, what the fuck? Are we just going to creep around New Orleans looking for Julian the rest of the fucking time if we get more?
Yes, man. So Sip does get the message here, though, as she resuscitates Lasher, that he is not needed in this relationship anymore.
No, he is. You're done.
He sneaks off with the Talamasca agent, and okay, so to me, and they do come up again later in the episode. They play a part in the final battle, so to speak. But this is, to me, Cyprian heading off into his own show. My guess is that we'll see Cyprian featured in the Talamasca series as the head of the New Orleans branch, and separate from the Mayfairs completely.
I certainly hope so. I mean, let's see, because he's like, I enjoy that actor. I like that performer.
I do too.
Fun to watch. I don't hate the character. I think he's real unnecessary because they haven't done shit with him. But
so far they haven't done anything. But that doesn't mean that you couldn't.
That's right. Yes. It does not mean that you could not. You went to the trouble of creating him out of thin air.
So the Talamasca are marching on the place in mass a little bit, and they're going to help build an exit strategy for the Taltos and the friendly Mayfairs. That's the plan. Moira makes it out to the feast tent and reads enough minds to find out that the plan
is... What the fuck is going on?
We're going to kill all these little Taltos babies. Yeah. We're going to drain them all.
Nom, 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 nom.
Again, I just want to share the futility and the silliness, the wastefulness of boiling down this entire series to a blood magic ritual. Okay, you got 500, 600 years worth of Mayfair witches just for a blood magic ritual?
Yeah, and all of it, like on all sides, that's all it is. Because in order to get the girls out of the fucking house, they've got to do blood magic there. So it's all, at every angle, it's just blood magic. It's just like the...
Boo.
A wet duck fart. Thanks, Kelly.
It's a wet duck fart. That's exactly it, man. So Imolith doesn't want to let the last baby go. She's going to nurse that one herself.
Good instincts, Imolith. Good instincts, mama.
Good read. So again, no answer to that, but theoretically you got a mama and a baby Taltos there.
Taltos
out in the wild, all on their own. So theoretically they get away with this scot-free. Julian, meanwhile, is giving his feast speech to the Taltos babies while these Mayfairs all get very antsy with their knives. Like, again, did none of the children... First of all, the children are sat in a circle, which means they can see across the circle to the knife behind the back of their fellow, right? Like, I'm not...
If I go to a party, a dinner party, and everyone has a knife but me, I'm going to be a little suspicious.
Specifically, everybody stood behind people has knives. That's like...
Yeah, standing right behind you.
Y'all, even baby animals run from predators. That's all I'm saying.
They do.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, Lord. No wonder the Talatos are almost extinct. They're fucking stupid.
They're fucking stupid.
They have
They're
no
lemmings.
instincts. They have no instincts for survival. None.
They'll run right off that fucking cliff. Yeah. Okay, so Lasher, Rowan, and Moira are all together now and heading to the fight. Do they get a bunch of weapons first? No.
Why would they?
Do they take care of the fact that Lark is stitched in and will be injured by any damage they do to the family? No. They don't worry about that complication.
We're just going to hope for the best. Yeah.
They do bring television's worst CGI doggy, though.
Oh, my. I almost forgot about the fucking wolf.
I did, too. I forgot about him completely until he comes back. And I'm like, oh, God damn it. That wasn't just a one-off for no good reason.
No,
they bring the wolf back.
They brought the wolf back, y'all. Christ on a crutch.
I literally think they just looped they drew one set of animation of that dog moving, I believe, and they just looped it like...
Run it back, y'all.
Like those bad scenes from the Disney animation from the 70s where they took the characters from one thing. Hey, all the characters are dancing here. Let's just repaint their costumes. They're all animals. Nobody will notice.
Oh my God. Those are really funny to watch side by side, by the by.
Yes, they are. It is really cool.
So what a treat.
So they drag Lark out to threaten the family bond, which again, Rowan has no plan to take care of. She's just marching in there to attack these people.
Yeah.
But don't worry, Julian has unstitched old Lark. In fact, Julian's unstitched the whole damn family. None of them are connected anymore.
Isn't that convenient?
Very, like, again, why even introduce that plot, that whole idea?
To just remove it? Yeah.
To write it off screen.
Because you could do you could make this situation threatening for Lark without it being magic that you just toss out the window in the next scene.
Or here's a thought. Make the cost for Julian to be able to remove that thing something interesting. Make Julian have to give something, perhaps his immortality, for instance, or something.
Up for it.
I don't know, man.
Absolutely.
Like, just tell us a story, goddammit. Don't tell us there was a story. That's what you've done here. Several times you've been like, interesting things happened. Let me report some of them to you.
Yeah. It's terrible.
It's real bad. It's so bad.
We are not having fun.
Okay, so Rowan finally realizes that this is Julian in front of her instead of Cortland, even though, again, she saw Julian earlier.
She saw him
as she got drugged. But no.
Maybe it's like your seizure. Maybe she just doesn't remember.
How would Cortland have the power to do that? I don't think that's Cortland. Which, by the way, it's Lark that says that. Lark says, I don't think that's Cortland.
Yeah, Lark, who doesn't have any, experience with your fucking magical family, figures it out before you do.
No magic at all. No magic at all for Lark. And even
Lark
he
doesn't
knows...
have a magic hand, and he knows it's bullshit.
That's the evil wizard, actually. That's the evil one. So the wolf kills Ian. Lark is free now. Lasher, turns out, is a pretty good fighter. He's whacking them left and right with those shillelaghs.
Doing pretty good.
Lark and Moira go to save the kids, but Lark first has to kill an evil Mayfair, so he's now got skin in the game, so to speak. Yeah. Again, could have been an interesting plot point. Write it off with a wink and a nod and some magic tea at the end of the episode.
I mean, what a throwaway. We like Lark, and you threw him away.
Why make him do it? Yeah, why do that? And it's just the whole... So Rowan is finally using her mind powers to help Lasher, which good, except that you immediately get him hatcheted.
Right.
Like, if she's killing people left and right with her mind, that bitch threw a hatchet across the field. You throw lightning bolt. Lightning moves faster than a hatchet, Ashley.
Yeah, that hatchet was on point.
She yells Hamish's name, then throws the hatchet, and still Rowan can't move Lasher out of the way or hit the bitch with a lightning bolt or fucking nothing.
Nope, he's done.
Anyway,
D-U-N.
I'm reading this as Jack Houston had had enough of this particular band of bullshittery.
I'm done with the fuckery. Thank you.
I'm tired of lying in the episode insiders, actually, and I would rather not in the future.
I'm gonna talk to my therapist about this whole experience.
I skimmed that second book and Lasher dies, y'all, so I'm out. Actually,
I'm out. I think I would be out anyway. I'm out. Let's call it good.
And I mean, let's be fair. They could just pull that motherfucker back as a ghost again, I suppose, and say, "Oh, he's just gonna be reborn again." But like, this should be the end of you if you're gonna hatchet him twice in the show.
In one episode,
and let him be done.
If you're gonna fucking kill him twice in one episode, let it go. I'm done.
Goodness gracious. Done. So she can't save him this time. She tries to do the little woo woo and heal him again, but he's actually gone.
R.I.P.
Yeah, right. So the Talamasca break their way through the magic barrier that Ian and Julian have set up around the property, and they get ready to save some Taltos babies. Julian, meanwhile, has approached with the chalice, and he's offering Rowan a deal. She can drink Lasher's blood, and not only can she raise Lasher, but they can raise all the Mayfair witches, your mother, her mother. I mean, okay, first of all, you've now hung this out there that you could do this. So what's your argument going to be in the future that you don't bring them all back?
Right. And is that what we do next season? And if that's the case, then I don't even know.
That's not the way that I wanted the Mayfair Files, y'all.
No.
I don't bring them back one by one in the modern day. Anyway, he says the two of us in a divine covenant. She acts like she's about to drink. She takes the chalice and she's talking. Oh yeah, but she keeps delaying him. Clearly, the Taltos, meanwhile, are being snuck off. So they're making their way out. Julian's monologuing, explaining all of his evil plans.
His nefarious deeds.
And then suddenly he realizes, because one of the Mayfairs yells, they're taking the children. So he starts chasing the Talamasca now.
Dinner.
Yeah, right. Turns out that God Julian is no better at throwing lightning bolts than Rowan ever was, though. He can't hit anything either.
No, they're like stormtroopers.
Yes, except he finally does manage to hit our Talamasca agent and kill her.
Damn it.
Sorry, you don't make the spinoff.
You don't make the spinoff, sis, and I'm sorry. I liked you.
Man, if you're this actor, though, genuinely, your agent calls you and says, you've been cast, you've got 4 episodes of Mayfair Witches, you're playing a Talamasca agent, and I'm just telling you, AMC's doing a Talamasca series this year too. So like, we're excited about this, sweetheart.
Good.
Okay, awesome. You got your hopes up. You get to this part in the script and you're like,
motherfucker.
You got a whole agent. You couldn't just leave me out there somewhere, maybe for a cameo in the future.
Throw me in a thrall. Throw me in a thrall somewhere. That worked for half the season for some of the characters.
What kills me is like they don't even like Cyprian doesn't get to touch her. He says, "I'm so sorry," through the veil, the magical barrier or whatever. Like she just crumples beside that barrier, and then like her body is just now
disintegrates
a part of the set, basically. Yeah, it's like wow, just throw that person away. Okay, then. I don't know, man. I don't. Okay. Okay, so our Talamasca agent's dead.
Yeah.
Julian throws a lightning bolt in the other direction to distract Rowan, and then he disappears. So then Rowan goes to Lasher's body and drinks the blood.
Yeah.
didn't she just turn this down? Isn't drinking the blood tying her to Julian somehow? Isn't this a bad thing, Ashley?
I think she's doing it to set herself on even footing with him so that she can do battle with her evil grandfather.
Okay, well, when he was trying to tempt her into drinking the blood, didn't he say that if she drank the blood, she could raise Lasher?
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't raise Lasher.
Yeah.
You know what she does do, though, Ashley? She hovers for a while in space right there above the field.
Yes, she does. She lurks.
Flowers grow in a big circle around where she's hovering.
Mm-hmm.
So yay to all of that, I guess.
Beautiful.
That was the whole rest of the budget, too, because they just decided not to film the rest of the episode.
We didn't finish the episode. That's pretty... They could have just ended it there. And I'd have been way less pissed off if they had just ended it there. I'm going to say
there are 3 scenes after that. I would have been too, honestly. At least that's an interesting, artful ending, right? Like it doesn't make any fucking sense, but at least it is saying something visually.
It's
right?
Like, oh.
No, we end from that kind of beautiful moment, and we have 3 more scenes after that. We have 2 scenes on docks, and then 1 scene at the, or I should say 1 scene on the dock, 1 scene in downtown New Orleans, and then 1 scene at the house. All 3 of these might as well have been shot on green screen, whether they were or not.
100%.
So shallowly shot and framed, all 3 of these scenes. It might as well have been a matte painting behind you, genuinely. The scene on the dock, again, interesting things happened to offset. Moira comes in and tells us the Talamasca have the children. Everybody's safe. Imolith got away, I guess. She disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to her. And they don't mention the fact that Imolith had 1 baby with her. But again, we remember from Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Joel Bobs, you remember we went to college together in Louisiana. Yeah, we know. We remember.
So hopefully, if any of this ever comes up again, Imolith is out there, and so is 1 Taltos baby. And then the rest of the Taltos are being raised by the Talamasca, which again, okay, interesting stories you can tell, I guess, in the Talamasca series with quickly growing Taltos babies that all want to screw. Okay, all right, interesting stuff, I guess.
Can you imagine like having them in your fucking mother house and they're just like horny teenagers like wanting to hump everything?
And also, we know seductive, like as a race, they're seductive to human beings. So like you've got a society full of monks effectively that are all going to be stuck with these horny alien race. I don't know, man. Okay, but at least that's something interesting. But that all happens off screen. We're just told it by Moira.
Yeah, we're just told that.
Meanwhile, they're like, what are you do? Lark's worried about, is she going to have enough juice to take care of Daphne and JoJo? Do y'all remember Daphne and JoJo? The whole reason why we went on this wild goose chase?
Scotland? Yeah. To get Lasher's blood.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. I got plenty of blood for JoJo and Daphne. Don't even worry about it. And don't feel bad about that dude you killed. You had to.
Yeah.
And also, I'm going to erase your memory anyway. Yeah. Don't even worry about it.
Don't even worry.
Then we leave Scotland and we're back in New Orleans. And they're sitting at a cafe table in the middle of the French Quarter, it looks like. And Lark is asking, am I really not going to remember you at all? If I ever come back to New Orleans, will you throw me a bone? Maybe that'll be fun. The strange girl from New Orleans that attacks me. Yeah, okay, I'll make out with you, and then pour you a glass of magic tea. I want to, again, let's look for the bright side. I want to throw some kudos to the actor who plays Lark. The acting that he does facially when he takes this drink of magic tea, and then all of the weight of that relationship with Rowan is gone, and he's just a tourist in New Orleans. Very, very effective, I felt like. Good shot there.
Yeah.
But again, great character you've introduced.
Like the actor, like the performance, and he's gone.
Just write him the fuck off of your show forever. Okay. And out of your universe. All right, great. And then we cut to the house properly. We're going to end it where it all started, back at Mayfair Mansion. And it does look a little worse for wear on the outside. But I knew, Ashley, as soon as we saw it from the outside, because it's not the proper set. I was like, y'all aren't going inside that house. I don't know where you shot this, They didn't. I don't. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody that knows better than I do about the making of this show. But I would bet money that that was on a different location, exterior set only, that they were shooting on there, which is the reason why we did not go inside. And that does not make any sense to me, y'all. I do not understand it. The house's dissolution and falling apart has been a major plot point of the season. We should have seen it instead of just looking shabby.
Jojo and Daphne being stuck in the fucking house. We don't even get to see them come out. Yeah, it's like
you hear Dolly Mae's voice, you hear Jojo's voice, you see a flash of light, and then Rowan comes out of the house in new clothes to stand on the porch. I do not unless, and this is what I said earlier, unless the decision had already been made to cut the losses on this show.
Right.
And we're not going to renew it. And no, we're not spending another $50,000 for whatever you need to shoot that finale. Yeah. Wrap it up. Faster and cheaper, the better. Unless that was the directive, this is undefensible in my opinion.
It is so ridiculous. It is. I thought, if you didn't want to do it, leave them there and leave us on a cliffhanger. Like, let's hear Dolly Jean talk to Rowan, and then let's just end it there.
Yeah, does she have the juice or not?
Exactly.
Without Lasher?
And then we don't know, and we have to figure it out. Like, we have to wait until next season. Like, yeah, it is. I was so angry that I had to get up and take a lap around my office building. I was like, I need a minute. This is so stupid. This has been the whole fucking thing. And we don't even get one last glimpse of those two fabulous actors. Fuck you.
So weak, so terribly weak as an ending. What we do end on, so Rowan comes out of the mansion. We don't even go inside. She comes out of the mansion in a different outfit. She's back on the porch, and Julian is watching her as the outro song plays. The outro song, "You're not coming for me, I'm coming for you." I thought that was sort of fitting, but again,
it was a good song, good tune.
We've made this joke. Or I've made this reference in the past on one of our movie club episodes. There's a podcast I listen to that does an award every year called the Game Is On Award, where they have a movie that has a tease at the end for what's to come next, but it never is going to be made.
Yeah.
Y'all, this feels so much like the fucking game is on.
Yeah.
But I genuinely, answer me truthfully, who listening to this, who watching this gives a damn about Julian and Rowan chasing each other? This Julian and Rowan. I couldn't give two duck shits. I really could not.
I don't care. And I don't know how I'm supposed to care. I can't make myself care.
I don't know where you would go from here in any way that would be interesting or relevant to any of Anne's works,
me out
honestly.
Because they just bungled this source material so badly. And this is how I felt at the end of fucking Game of Thrones. I was just like, you had so much source material. Like, you did not have to go this way. You could still, granted, that asshole still hasn't finished his fucking book. So, they probably would have finished ahead of him anyway. But Christ, you had stuff to work with. Why did you go so rogue?
Listen, I do not care to disparage creatives' work. As a general rule, I don't like to yuck people's yum. I like to cheer the things that I enjoy and ignore the things that I do not. But this is something I enjoy, actually. These books are things that I enjoy.
And you messed it all up.
And not just that, but the television world that has been created through Interview with a Vampire is something that I enjoy quite a lot too. And the idea and the possibility for crossover worlds with the Talamasca and the Mayfair Witches and the other paranormal entities that exist in Anne's work is ripe. And we've slobbered and palavered at the ideas of all of this coming to fruition. This is genuinely wasted, though.
Fucking bummer.
Genuinely wasted. And it's a huge disappointment. I do hope that this is not renewed. I do hope that they let this just die and be what it is. And there are MCU movies that I like less and MCU movies that I like more, right? And the shared universe, the connected universe, is malleable enough and strong enough and overall high quality enough to survive lesser work.
Absolutely.
The same thing is true here. but there's no reason to put this budget out there again for this creative team to go any further with this story.
I just don't know where they would possibly go from here. Like, I'm like, I don't know what you just did. I can't. Whew. Yeah.
Take some of these good costumers, send them over to the Talamasca, sure. But everybody else, thank you for your tour of duty on the Immortal Universe.
Tip of the hat.
We can go ahead and close down shop, though. That's going to be my wish. I said that to Kelly as she was leaving for the basketball game earlier, and she said, I genuinely think that the show won't be renewed now. And she said, what do you think that means for Interview? And I said, well, the good news is Interview's already been renewed for season 3. It's already in production. So like that will happen regardless of this decision. And to me, this being cut loose would then free Interview with the Vampire potentially to be able to make some bolder choices and still get a renewal. Again, like if they've only got so many irons in the fire, I think it's more likely that they stick with Interview for a while. Yeah. At least, even if Interview does not have the ratings that Mayfair might have in the beginning, it does have consistent creative applause, though, right? And
starting to get nominations and things like that. I'm very interested. I'll be very interested to see when this is all said and done, how the ratings for this particular season of Mayfair went. And then again, we'll be keeping our ear out to find out, good, bad, or ugly, what's going to happen next with this series. It does make me nervous. It's hard for me to wish something gets canceled. That's Anne Rice, that's really a weird feeling and I hate it, but it is where we are with this. And
well, I think the beauty of where they are in the series currently and what AMC has announced out loud, they don't have to cancel it, right? They just have to not renew it. Right. That's true. Could be that Mayfair had a 2-season story and that was always our plan. Yeah. And some of those characters may appear because this is a connected universe, et cetera, et cetera.
We may see them again.
Yeah, that particular story has been told. That's my guess. And I think that's what we'll hear sooner rather than later, honestly. There isn't any reason to come out and make a splashy announcement about that one way or the other, because it would put a damper probably on Talamasca. Meanwhile, we can just full steam ahead. And when Talamasca is better, hoping, then, the buzz can be coming out of that and going into Interview with the Vampire season 3. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the story of Mayfair is done, but those characters will reappear in X and Y and Z, whatever. Yeah. So, boy, y'all, I'm sorry that it wasn't better.
This was a season, y'all. This was a whole season. We were so hopeful, and what a ride we went on, Joel. We were in that clown car right along with them, careening through the streets.
Y'all, I just want to say, like, we do not give actors enough credit, I don't think, for the heavy lifting that it is to go out there and get excited about a work when you already know these actors knew at Comic-Con this was not a great series. And you can't say that. It makes no one any money. It makes you no benefit in your future career path to have been the guy who badmouthed the work.
Like bad-mouthing you the work, yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, they got us, you and me, who were very jaded after season 1, they got us excited about this show again.
I know, I feel really used.
I mean, misled, at least, I'll say, for
gaslit?
sure.
I feel a little gaslit. I might have to talk to my therapist about this.
They front loaded this season for sure with all the good stuff, man.
They really did. Yeah, the beginning of the season was much stronger than the second half, and I don't know if they just blew their budget traveling or what. It was also unnecessary.
I got to tell you, I think the entire trip to Ireland was unnecessary based on what we got out of the countryside.
We could have done
that with matte paintings, honestly. Like, I put our friend Bridget Lagarde to work.
Yeah, exactly. We know some people. We know some brilliant artists.
Jeez. That's right, man. Honestly, I think I would have preferred Bridget's matte paintings to some of this scenery we shot. I would have preferred. I don't know if it's the camera or just what they were doing with it or what. But again, even in those cool countryside scenes, it looked cheap and sort of artificial. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. This just has been
boo.
Boo, indeed. Blech. Blech and boo.
So what comes next for us? Well, we've already told you next week we're going to get together on Saturday, March 8th, noon CST.
Have a little hangout.
A little hangout. We'll do a Q&A. We'll do some feedback on this season. We'll talk a little bit about the Immortal Universe generally. We'll talk about some movies that you guys have been watching lately or what we've been watching lately. I've got a few TV series I wouldn't mind discussing a little bit that I've been catching up on. Kelly and I are basically week to week current with Severance in particular. That's been a really, really good one. And I'll tell you too that I have thoroughly enjoyed, to my surprise, the new Spider-Man cartoon. If you haven't seen that, Ashley.
Seen it yet?
So the guy who voices Spider-Man came out right before the series dropped and made some comment about how he was so glad that their scripts weren't full of woke crap or something like that. And I thought, oh, to hell with this guy. And I wasn't excited about the series at that point. I was like, this is not going to be anything. But I saw a couple of people watch the first 4 or 5 and say some really interesting stuff in here. And I don't know what scripts that guy was. He must not have read any of these scripts when he made that comment, because it's pretty fucking woke, actually.
Maybe he was being sarcastic.
Maybe so. But literally in the first episode, there's like an anti-incarceration storyline. There's a straight up class warfare storyline that goes through the first and second episode. There's a major character who's a young man of color who is fighting because he lives on the wrong side of town, and he's stereotyped for being a thug when he's really a genius and also the star quarterback, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Also, there's LGBTQ representation in the first episode. There's
Fantastic.
3 major characters that are all women. Anyway, this show's great.
Representation matters, y'all.
Yeah, right. My point is, there's an example of them taking some fairly bare thread source material, because they're going back to the original comics for inspiration in a lot of ways,
and spinning up some great stories,
some really interesting and complex stories out of those storylines and original source material. And here, and also doing it in an interesting, artful way.
Right.
So here, though, we're just getting none of that. I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about all that stuff on the live stream. Anything that you want to chat about, we'll be there, hang out for probably an hour and a half or so.
It'll be fun.
If you can't make it, that will be our regular episode next week. So if you can't make it to the live stream, you'll still get to enjoy it. But if you can make it on time and be there in person, link will be in the show notes for this episode. And that means you'll get to participate with us. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
After that, you and I are going to go into our book club episodes and movie night episodes. We're going to be doing, and all of the schedule for this is in the show notes, by the way, for this episode too. It's also on our Patreon and in our Facebook group. But we're going to be talking about Merrick. We're going to break that down several chapters at a time. And we're also going to be talking about a bunch of really cool movies. We're going to do The Witch. We're going to do Nosferatu. We're going to do Dracula's Daughter, which I'm excited to do with you.
You guys. We love the movies. The movie nights are fun.
They are a lot of fun. They're also, though, a really good opportunity to circle back on a lot of the things that have both inspired Anne's work and been inspired by it. I love having that conversation. Dracula's Daughter, for instance, was one of Anne's favorite Dracula movies. I think it might have been the first one that she ever saw, actually. And she was very inspired by the androgynous lead characters. Dracula's Daughter is very sort of plays with the gender line in an interesting way. So
it's fantastic.
Anyway, all of that and more coming up. Read the schedule in the links to make sure that you're caught up to date and around for all of the fun stuff. And then we'll see how many books and how many movies we need to get through before Talamasca gets here. Exactly.
And then potentially interview.
Yeah, man. Maybe even interview this year. That's the crazy thing.
Maybe.
Whether that comes in 2025 or not, I will say I got a great reminder the other day in the Facebook group that we ought to put this on the list. And when we get through Merrick, I think we will try to put these 2 movies pretty close. People had suggested there are 2 Anne Rice works that you and I haven't covered yet at all.
Yep.
Feast of All Saints, which is a great miniseries that was on Showtime in the past, but is, of course, a novel as well.
I completely forgot they did that.
I had two, honestly. I never had Showtime when it was out and when it was on.
I never saw it.
And it's one of those things that kind of falls through. I got a lot of, even when I didn't have HBO, I would occasionally buy the HBO DVDs that they would put out so regularly. I didn't shop that much Showtime stuff though.
Yeah.
I will admit. So I missed a lot of stuff from them. And then the other thing though that came out, honestly, not too far later than Feast of All Saints, the series, there was a film adaptation called The Young Messiah, which is based on Anne's first Jesus book, which is called Christ Our Lord, or Christ the Lord Out of Egypt is the name of that one. And it's about Jesus when he's like 10, 11 years old, I think.
Baby Jesus.
Read both of the Jesus books from Anne and really enjoyed both of them. Absolutely did intend on talking about those books at some time in the future. I had honestly missed the fact that this movie had been adapted from her work at all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
As
I didn't know that
imagine,
at all.
They don't use Anne's name in the promotion of that Jesus film very much. Imagine
that they would think that would make people think it's going to be something it's not. Interesting.
From the writer of Interview with the Vampire and Queen of the Damned.
Yes, exactly. Queen of the Damned.
Comes the young Messiah.
That's hilarious.
Do you remember those gay ass vampires?
Well, now let her tell you about Jesus.
Let her tell you the good word of our Lord. Anyway,
I love it.
So we will do, once we get through Merrick, we will definitely put Feast of All Saints on the list pretty soon. And then probably we'll try to squeeze in the Young Messiah too. Those would be fun while we're waiting on some more Anne Rice stuff from AMC. But folks, we've also got some Flan again coming for you in the near future. Ashley and I are going to do a couple of movie nights with that, and then we'll go into our next series over there too. Stay subscribed to Flan again in all your favorite podcast apps or on the YouTube channel if you want to watch that. And next week, we will be back with some Q&A and some follow-up all about this series and whatever else y'all want to chat about. Until then, I'm going to not have another seizure. How about that?
Please and thank you.
Knock on the old wood.
Let's behave ourselves, shall we?
We will. We'll follow the rules of the Coven.
Do what your watch tells you.
Don't open the vampire box.
Don't open the vampire box.
Don't kneel at the stone altar. And don't have a seizure.
Don't have a seizure. These are Coven rules. Take care of yourselves.
Don't let the Fae into your house. All right.
No,
anyway,
don't let the Fae in. Unless you want to.
Until we talk to you again, we've been your hosts. I am Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Thanks for listening to The Articulate Coven. If you enjoyed the show, check out our groups on Facebook and Discord. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Or find us at articulatecoven.com and wherever you listen to podcasts.